Hello everyone, and welcome to this overview of this research poster presentation, a collaborative research poster presentation between the Renal Patient Support Group (RPSG), the KDARS, and the Kidney Disease and Renal Support Group, or KDARS Group for Kids, social media platform, and the collaboration was led was this collaboration was led by the May Projects Gardens team in the Southwest UK, and additionally, where this research poster presentation was a where the work, sorry, was a collaborative effort between an academic institution in the UK, and also an academic institution where when one of the collaborators was from an academic institution um, uh, in Singapore. So this research poster presentation is looking at understanding polypharmacy and bridging best practices. And in this research poster presentation, there is a look at sort of a some bases in around nephrotoxicity, which is the in around where drug toxicity or where polypharmacy can prompt sorry in inappropriate polypharmacy can prompt nephrotoxicity, and thus cause or prompt the challenges in around the functional components of the kidneys. And so this research poster presentation is was a collaborative where the May Projects Gardens team implemented some workshops, and so this research poster presentation will be a look at some of the collaborative aspects of that. So to begin with, a look at sort of the aims. So during 2023 and 2024, a collaborative effort took place across organizations to better understand challenges surrounding polypharmacy. In addition to learning about the environment, the collaborative effort looked to present several international workshops to unite communities, and the aims and objectives sat within a collaborative approach which focused on collective work and responsibility. So in around some of the intro, so understanding the intricacies surrounding polypharmacy has been a public health challenge for several decades. Aligned to this is also understanding nephrotoxicity, wherein renal or kidney pathophysiology can be implicated by the toxins of both illicit substances and pharmacotherapeutics, and is a complex and additionally where it is a complex challenge across all age cohorts and ethnicities. All pharmacotherapies and illicit substances are associated with drug-related nephrotoxicity that prompt impaired renal function, as measured by serum by which is quantified, sorry, by laboratory investigation looking at serum creatinine levels to determine a glomerular filtration rate or estimated glomerular filtration rate, or EGFR, and or electrolyte imbalances. So major improvements in treatments for varying health conditions always form a part of pharmaceutics and clinical trials, especially understanding nephrotoxic side effects and rigorous definition of the association between drug toxicology concentration, drug toxicology concentration and clinical effects. So the NHS, or the National Health Service, is driven by quality and patient outcomes. The increase in provision of point of care testing or POCT healthcare services can assist in driving quality improvements or understood by the NHS outcomes framework, NHS or National Health Service outcomes framework, which is a sort of a basis that have been sort of driven by what have been referred to as primary care networks or PCNs. So additionally, AHPs or allied health professionals can have an important role in ensuring that correctly there are best practices across healthcare sectors in aligned to precluding or preventing aspects of inappropriate polypharmacy, at least at least in around particular AHPs or allied health professionals. And this can then enhance the care roles, the sort of the core principles or roles of roles or bases of allied health professionals also include the care for patients with chronic conditions, and access to reliable healthcare advice and treatments. It is hoped that AHPs will be enhanced within, for example, the NHS and National Health Service and beyond in sort of prospectively. And in this context, it is also important to attain better insight into precluding inappropriate polypharmacy, but also identify ways to bridge best practices external to healthcare industry, such as interlinking the aspects of environment or understanding the sort of environment, and i.e., for example, developing sustainable and regenerative human habitats that mimic natural ecosystems. So a little bit now in around the basis of this collaboration. So polypharmacy and over prescribing in around particular treatments, for example, have been highlighted in amongst the literature and generally, and it refers to the use of multiple medicines that can prompt toxicity, such that medications or particular drugs can cause challenges to normal pathophysiology, and polypharmacy is common in both young and elderly populations, and wherein multimorbidity conditions may be treated by one or more medicines for each condition. Morbidity is associated with sort of the decreased quality of life, as well as increases in mortality, hospitalizations, and costs of treatments. Healthcare has been advancing rapidly, expanding data collection to understanding polypharmacy, as well as external data linkages, particularly between healthcare sectors, would allow more detailed understanding of which individuals are suspect or high risk for inappropriate polypharmacy, and this could and can pave the way for more transparency for medicines and screening programs for healthcare service users. Every region in the UK, for example, have been invited to have an integrated care system or ICS, which will include or has looked to include plans to secure and support general practices and enable them to play and enable it to play its part in more integrated community integrated primary and community healthcare services. This should also allow healthcare professionals to document and record in a more seamless way i.e., for example, should in effect reduce the need for duplication and replication of unnecessary paperwork, as is the issue in an across that has as has been an issue sort of historically in amongst healthcare practices. And there is also an untapped area regarding the healthcare and disease trends through point of care testing and diagnostics. And the basis of this collaboration, therefore, had looked to prompt awareness and surrounding of polypharmacy and nephrotoxicity, and awareness through through the environment. So in around the aims specifically in around this collaboration, the collaboration prompted the co-development of several workshops between August 2023 and November 2023, secondly in around April 2024, thirdly in around May 24 to June 2024, and then fourthly in around September 2024 to October 2024. And the focus was on in around polypharmacy and understanding nephrotoxicity, B, healthcare service users having ability to make decisions and envisaging better perspectives, or attaining better perspectives, and C, attaining well-being through where collaborators focused on in around looking at aspect of environment. Looked at understanding expression through environment and well-being, and this allowed participants between the collaboration an understanding in the importance of opportunity that would advantage broader community. The end process can be viewed through pictures or images and consolidated short film through the collaborators main web page, and again that being the May Project Gardens, which sort of demonstrate the journey and the work that had been carried out. So now looking at sort of the collaborative workshops. So the initial sort of session in around the collaborative workshops kicked off with a formal introduction aimed at engaging sort of the young people by providing a snapshot of a basis in around the May Gardens project effort, but also infused it into a one full day workshop. And this was a sort of an whether 1 day workshop that the collaborators, the May Project Gardens team had implemented was an out of the city experience, which was co-developed to provide opportunity for participants to see some of the see in around or to experience aspects of the works that the May Project Garden had been doing, but also to link it with experiences outside in the context of the environment. The initial plan in around the collaborative workshops additionally was in around where week 1 was where participants would look to observe and interact. Week 2 was to look at aspects of good health, well-being, and good health and well-being. Thirdly was looking at aspects of food or food growing and cooking, food growing and cooking, and life on the land. And then week 4 was actually in around the expression element, and where the May Projects Gardens team did had implemented an aspect of hip hop and aspect of hip hop, and link that to aspect of enterprise employment and economic growth. And it was then decided to additionally collaborate where the main projects garden team had collaborated, had a collaborative, a sort of a separate collaborative effort with with uh, with an international international artist to headline the event and present a day of present a day of film, and exclusively showing the showing aspects of a documentary in on environmental aspects, and in addition to perspectives on music, or aspects and in line to aspects of where that collaboration also had elements of work, aspects of working together in amongst aspects of community and other and some additional activities that align to the use of hip hop within surrounding community. So in around some of the analysis of this, and you can see in this research poster presentation, some selected context from the workshop in on the table that is on the right column. So for the purpose of this research poster presentation, there won't be a sort of an iteration in around what's described in the selected comments from the workshops, but listeners can look to check those out as well. So there are selective context from workshop in April 2024 and May 24, and sort of surmised context from May 2024 and June 2024, May to June 2024 workshop, and then workshop from September 2024 to October 2024. But in around the analysis, the workshops attendance range from approximately 30 young people to 150 young people across the different workshops. And over the workshops, there was a conversation rate of approximately 15, where 15 of the young people were sort of regular attendees. In a single week, there was an average of 11 to 12 who attended each session, and a low of about 10 young people, around 10 young people. And each workshop featured sort of a May Garden Project facilitators, in addition to some artists, from different genres, for example, from from the Latin Caribbean, and Afrobeats accordingly. And the music catered for the the music catered for the attending demographic, and there was a success. There was a success and a great addition to the evening as in aspect two of that basis. And all there additionally there was a basis where the May Projects Garden team, they had looked to raise some that looked to raise some in addition to awareness, they looked to raise funds for prospective collaborative works, around some prospective collaborative works. So in addition, the aims and objectives of the workshops were not always relayed to participants beforehand, and so therefore they entered, the majority of participants in amongst the workshops had entered a sort of a pilot sort of a pilot sort of basis, and were also additionally sort of a little blind to the overall expectations of the different workshops. However, this had the potential to, although it had the potential to derail the group, or the cohort structures in amongst the different workshops, as in some cases, a few participant felt music, etc., was prohibited, and or felt it went against their faith, or their beliefs in such activities. However, the challenge in some of the cases was also time within the scheduled workshops to ensure impact, especially owing to there being quite a lot of content through the different workshops that took place. And there were also older, sort of more influential attendees, of those in amongst those who were the young participants, that caused some elements of disruption. But facilitators, the May Gardens project team facilitators, were able to challenge and encourage all participants to use voice and make decisions. So overall, the conclusion in around this collaborative was where all inappropriate polypharmacy can induce nephrotoxicity, and it is difficult to determine although it is difficult to determine, and is still a focus in the remit of toxicology of drug compounds. At the same time, many individuals may be disenfranchised or feel powerless, thus resulting in illicit can prompt illicit substance abuse that propagate the toxicological profile the toxicological profile of and in around polypharmacy. Having access to particular AHPs, allied health professionals, should encourage healthcare service users to feel more included. So thus increasing practical understanding surrounding best practices, including aspects of the environment, and the way healthcare is being imagined and delivered also prompts attitude change amongst both patients or healthcare service users and healthcare service providers to encourage inclusion across various community projects. So in amongst this, again, just to finalize, it was where the May Gardens project and collaboration. They where the workshops had ultimately encouraged sort of that basis of inclusion, and sort of where the young people, the young people who participated were those who were, for example, were were recruited as part of the different workshops, where they were where they were suspect and high risk for illicit illicit substance and drug abuse. And so the May Gardens project team May Garden project team, and where this collaboration looked to ultimately sort of bridge better understanding and practices in around aspects of that, nephrotoxicity, and polypharmacy. So that closes this overview, this research poster presentation overview. There are some references and citations if any listeners want to check out some of the works that is related to the theme of this research poster presentation. This research poster presentation is and has been done in on the remit of UKKW 2026. Thank you.